Hey, this is Laura, and I just want to say hello. And I'm excited to be here on another Monday. Let me figure out one more thing here. Um, do. I need that. Let's see if this works. Okay. Open the Zoom up again. Got it. I'm figuring out all this tech stuff, right? So it's Laura again, and it's another Monday. It's time to muse a little bit. And I've been thinking a lot about energy. Um, and when we first think about energy, sometimes we go, oh, power plant, right? Oops, I only have one earring in. Oh, well, I'll just move my hair. The I used to actually work for Nevada Power Company, and it was cool because they were actually conscientious about meeting environmental regulations, even back in 1981 when I worked for them. So I don't know that all utilities are like that, but it just is what it is, kind of. Okay, so the energy, we also think about physical energy, like I'm energetic and ready to move, ready to do what I need to do for the day, or oh, man, I'm really tired. So there's that kind of energy. And then there's also emotional energy. And it's like being happy is a much higher emotional energy than being sad. And if you think about it, there's a whole range. I actually have a chart that I'm going to post along with this that'll make this really clear. And I was trying to print it before I started, but that didn't work. So I'm just going to go with the flow, right? So um, I've worked with an emotional healer over the years, and I never really understood how it worked. And I know that it did because of just my experiences with this woman. Her name is Victoria Rader, by the way. She's amazing. So, and there have been a few others kind of over the years. And I think any type of healing is almost emotional healing or energy healing because everything is energy. If you go back to your physics classes, if you ever took physics, even in high school, remember that all the molecules vibrate, right? And there's energy in that vibration. And even like your solid desk or whatever, those molecules are just vibrating really, really slowly. And then molecules of things that move, obviously, are vibrating much more quickly. Sound is energy, light is energy. It's all on just different wavelengths. And so what energy healing kind of does is helps you raise that energy to a higher level. And one of the things I've learned is that love is a super high energy frequency, which makes sense, right? Love and light, those types of things are higher on the frequency. So they make you feel better when you're feeling love and light and joy, those kinds of things. And you feel lousy when you're feeling guilt and shame and remorse and anger and fear. All of those things are negative. So one of the things I've learned to do, sort of, not always good at this, but is what can I do right now to raise my energy? And sometimes a deep breath will help. I've talked about this. Sometimes getting outside in nature, sometimes a conversation with a friend, sometimes yourself, everybody's different, right? But those little things that we can do to raise our energy will help us have a better day, because the days are kind of go like, when you, that saying kind of, well, let me stop and make sense here. When you get out of bed on the wrong side of the bed, right? And then maybe you stub your toe, and then maybe you spill your coffee, and then you're thinking, oh my gosh, today's going to be horrible. And guess what? Today's probably horrible. So say you get up on the wrong side of the bed and you're feeling a little groggy or cranky or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, let me just stop and breathe and think that, I'm going to have a great day no matter what happens. And that automatically, does it feel a little bit lighter? So it gets you to a place of more abundance and more positive expectations and more just higher vibrational energy that's going to attract better things into your life, because we attract things that vibrate at the same frequency. I saw something with a tuning fork the other day, and it's like one tuning fork, if it's tuned to the right frequency, it'll make the other tuning fork go off, and they kind of work together. And our everything is like that, in it's just different ways, and it shows up in different forms and stuff like that. But the thing to know is that if you're excited and exuberant and joyful in your life, that's going to bring more joy and more excitement and more exuberance, whatever it is, and you'll attract people with those same qualities. And that's another caveat to this, is don't hang around people that bring you down. Sometimes we're related to them, and then you can set clear boundaries on how much time to spend with them. I made a choice about, and I got invited to dinner once a while back, and I'm not going to say by who, because I value people's privacy, but it was like, I didn't really want to spend time with that person or those people, whatever. So I said, no, thanks. I have plans. Well, my plans were to go out and get fast food. Okay. But that was the truth, and that was my plan, and that was my choice to fill myself with better vibes. And you've heard it talked about that way, vibes, and that's another way for vibration, and that's another word for energy. So that just gives us something to think about. I want to keep these short and sweet. But energy is a very, very powerful source. Probably the most powerful thing there is when you think about it. I mean, it runs our world in technological ways, and it runs our lives in biological ways. So everybody have a blessed, wonderful week, and feel free to comment on these and say, hey, I'd like to hear more about blah, 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 and or whatever. Hopefully I won't just get up here and say blah for 5 minutes. But anyway, if there's something that I can share with you that'll be valuable, that'd be great. I'd love doing that. Okay, have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next week, if not sooner. I keep coming up with ideas for these things. Bye.